Welcome to Sports Hangover. I'm Michael Benatar, joined alongside J-Dog.
Mike, it's good to see you. It's good that Tua flew home with the team last night. A lot of Twitter neurosurgeons were out there coming for me and the Dolphins last night.
We were watching the game. I came over, watched the game with our mutual friend. We were sitting in a beautiful Whole Foods bar watching the game. No sound. Didn't really know what was going on. All we knew was that they were holding on Tua's fingers locked in a concussed mode for a very long time on screen.
They showed it way too much, repeatedly, like replays.
Much.
Like they even considered the replays. They went to break and came back and showed more replays. Like after they knew it was bad. Super concerning for Dolphins fans and for everyone to watch. And I know the direct line to last Sunday. I just think people are way out of line that don't have a clue about neurology and the head and brain trauma. And they're just football fans. And all you do is watch football and watch sports. Then you go on Twitter and you start telling the doctors, independent neurosurgeons, how they should be conducting their job. Maybe take a step back and let the process play out until everyone's an expert. It's like there's a hurricane hits and everyone's a weather expert. There's a pandemic and everyone's a health expert. Maybe just absorb the information instead of spouting your opinion about every single thing.
Well, we have to agree that last week you might not have thought Tua had a concussion. You were really defending the non-concussion call. He definitely has a concussion now, right? We can all agree.
Now he definitely does. I'm not saying last Sunday he did. And I don't think it's fair to draw a direct line. I mean, that was a hard hit he took. Who's to say if he had a perfectly normal game last Sunday, this Thursday, the hit happens and it's just a regular concussion?
You just sound like a homer. That's all I'm saying. It feels like I feel bad for Tua. I feel bad for the medical staff that let him back on the field this week after only 4 days and playing on Sunday and going out there on Thursday. Something weird is going on, and maybe he really does have some back issue because I don't know how he's getting cleared. That was the thing. It's like, how did he get cleared the other day and go back into the game? So,
like, don't we agree the NFL cares about head injuries? They've done a lot of moves in the past few years to get better at it. They have independent, non-team affiliated neurosurgeons who must clear players to return from concussion, who did that on Tua at halftime of the Bills game and said, you may proceed to the second half. He never had a concussion last week. Based on all the information we have, if there's a cover-up going on somewhere, expose it. Let me know. But until that happens, I don't want all this blame cast on my organization.
Jeremy, there's definitely some sort of conspiracy. Something's going to be happening this weekend.
Okay. We'll find out more.
J-Dog can take it on next week after Tua.
Sorry to get a little fired up there at the top, but you know what I'm saying? Like, people are coming for me and my team, and it's like, what do we do? We're just following the rules.
I know, but I think it's hard to just blanketly state that he was okay to come back because it didn't. From our eyes, we were not even listening to the broadcast, but from last Sunday's game and this Thursday game, they both looked really bad, and it's not a good look. That's all. I think that's what everybody's worried about. But the memes, love the memes. The memes are great online right now.
Those are okay now that we know he's okay, and he traveled back and he laughed. Apparently, he watched MacGruber on the plane ride home with Mike McDaniel, and he was laughing the entire time at MacGruber. So I don't know if that's a good sign or not, but it's something.
Yeah, definitely sounds like some brain trauma right there watching MacGruber on your way back.
Oh, jeez. Two gloves Teddy, he had some big throws in the second half.
Teddy's great. Teddy's a good backup, so he'll be your.
You thought he was going to cover and ruin your bet, but he didn't.
He didn't. I still won my bet, which is good. And everybody else in our group chat won the bet too. So just follow along with us. That's great.
Everyone wins their first bet. That's a rule of betting. Welcome to betting. All of our listeners are probably in the group chat too. And congrats to you guys for winning your first bet. As our lawyer friend knows, it doesn't get any easier after your first week of betting.
Definitely not. What do you want to talk about? I have like one fun story to talk about.
Let's start there.
Have you ever played pickleball?
No, I haven't, but I know it's gaining popularity.
I know some old people that play it. Aaron's dad plays pickleball like almost every morning, retired, just goes out and plays pickleball. LeBron James just bought a professional pickleball league, which I thought was an interesting move.
Wow.
I've never played pickleball. I bought pickleball like equipment. I mean, just paddles and a ball and ready to go, but never played. I want to go play because it seems like a great sport that you can play until your old age because you don't have to move too much and you just hit a ball very easily. So it might be my sport. I might be taking it up.
I was gonna say it's very stationary. You don't really have to move your feet at all. I think you can kind of lock them in some
Yeah,
quicksand and
lock
just
it
hang
in.
out for a while.
Good to
Because it's
go.
like 2-on-2 normally. What I've seen, I haven't played, but whenever I go to tennis, which is a sport that you cannot lock your feet in and have to do
Sure.
cardio, and that's why I choose tennis, Mike. But whenever I go, the pickleball courts are always more popular than tennis.
Hmm.
It's like a revolution. More people playing pickleball now. But you're right, we can play it into old age. We might as well start now.
Yeah, we should play some pickleball. I'm down to find a
I'm down.
pickleball court.
Yeah.
It seems like a nice mix between badminton and tennis. Like the ease, the ball doesn't move too fast. You don't have to run too fast. Very good on the joints. I'm all in on pickleball. I'm glad LeBron bought a league. Maybe this can be the next big sport to take over. I'm in on pickleball. Never played, but I'm in on it.
Are you as in on pickleball as you are on live golf? I'm wondering, is LeBron going to get
Oh,
a TV deal for pickleball now that we know live golf is doing an infomercial on Fox Sports One? Live golf is paying Fox to air their golf tournaments. Maybe LeBron can set up something similar for pickleball so it can take off.
I'm in on live golf. I'm in on pickleball. I'm just not in on the new innovations in sports and getting them out there into the world. Just like, many years ago I said esports is going to take over. It hasn't taken over nationally, but it is worldwide a very big phenomenon, which you know a little more about these days.
I do. I do a little more about that. I think you've always seen the trends coming before they happen. And so if you're saying pickleball and live
I'm
are
in.
next, then we need to open our eyes to it.
Yeah. And I was saying that last night. I mean, we can really dive into all the conversations, but I decided I'm not doing a fantasy football league next year. It will be fantasy gambling. People want to gamble. That's all we want
Yeah,
to do.
well, let's first start at where this is coming from. As you're
Yes.
0-3 in fantasy football, you're setting records for
Correct.
lowest points people have ever seen on a full matchup.
Correct.
That's what's happening to your team, and so it's only natural for you to say you're done with fantasy football. I will say, I think every
Yeah.
year for the past like 12 years or so, at
Mhm.
some point throughout the season, you've
Yeah.
said you're quitting fantasy. So we'll
Yeah.
believe it when we see it.
It's just it sucks because everybody plays it, and then when somebody talks about it, I literally don't give a shit like who you're starting, what your players are doing at all. Like I don't even care about my own, and why would I
Mm.
even care about yours when you tell me like, oh, I got Tua starting this week, or I got whoever starting. It's like I don't care, I don't care at all. But you care about gambling because you win money, and that's what I like.
Big betting energy, and we're seeing this develop. Like we said, our listeners, our group thread. There's more and more people coming out of the woodwork to bet. So I think that's another big sign. I have a fun story as well.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of a conspiracy theory. I'm not sure what you
Ooh,
would call this,
okay.
but Tony Gonzalez is on the TNF broadcast on the pregame and the postgame, and he's up there with all these players who just retired from the league: Fitzpatrick, Sherman, and Whitworth. They all played football last year. Tony Gonzalez has been out of the game for 10 years, and I was thinking about how he got up on that set when all the other guys are more current. And Mike, I found out, and I love it. It's right up our alley.
Oh, great.
Tony
Okay.
Gonzalez, he was married to Jeff Bezos' current wife, Lauren Sanchez. Tony Gonzalez has a 20-year-old kid with Jeff Bezos' wife. And so apparently
Whoa.
that connected all the dots, and Bezos
Oh my
said,
God.
get my man Tony on the pregame, postgame. Nepotism is showing itself here,
Wow.
and Amazon Prime is showing their colors with the pregame crew, because I think the other ones are great. I don't need Tony Gonzalez. He's kind of old news to me.
Yeah, he really doesn't like bring anything like too relevant. Like at least the other guys have been in the league in the last few years. I like that connection. Love the conspiracy. Had no idea that was going on.
I know.
I love it. That's so good. Because yeah, it doesn't make sense at all. It's like why is he there? And we understand like Fitzpatrick and Sherman, but we don't understand why he's there. That's good. Good catch. We didn't get to listen to much of the broadcast last night. Whole Foods does not play the sound at all.
Which, let's talk about that for a moment. You go to the
Sure.
Whole Foods bar, which apparently about 50% of Whole Foods now have bars. You were educating me on this. Good
Yeah,
thing to
deep
add to the
dive
Whole
on Whole
Foods grocery experience.
Yeah.
And so we go to watch the Amazon Prime game, the Prime Video game on Thursday night there. And he says they don't have Prime Video. We're new. We don't have it set up. Bro, you are Amazon. This might as well be a Prime bar. They may as well rebrand the bar as a Prime Lounge or something. I mean, Amazon owns it all. Bezos owns the whole thing, and he can't even get his broadcast on. So we had the clicker in hand of a guy at the bar. He was actually on DirecTV himself to find it. So shout out to the Whole Foods. If you're not streaming the Prime games, figure that out, and it's a real advantage for you.
A lot of weird experiences at Whole Foods. Me and you were sitting there waiting for a mutual friend. Some old man said we were talking too loud and didn't want to sit by us because you moved over one seat to save a seat for your mutual friend. And he looked at us like we were fucking like raging. It was like what, maybe like 4:45 in the afternoon. We sat down at the bar and
we weren't even drinking yet. We weren't being loud or animated, just ourselves. I mean, we were just having a podcast basically at the bar, and someone didn't like it. I guess he's not a listener. He doesn't download many episodes.
Yeah, we should have given him our card. Do you want to talk? Let's talk picks, because this week I was struggling a little bit, so I might use you as the defense later when I talk to our mutual friend.
Wow. What a roller coaster I've been on with your picks. First, I'm the public, and we can't take his opinion in, and then it's hard to have him shifting picks, and now maybe I'll help you out.
Well, I might even use your own pick against you in a way where it's like leverage for me. It's like, well, Jeremy likes it, so we should definitely stay on the side that I like.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
So this week, I feel like mutual friend, like not spending as much time, doesn't have a lot of feel. I feel like I'm really feeling it lately. Like I know where to go. And I'm getting a lot of pushback from a mutual friend. Now, I haven't recorded the calls. It's a lot of bickering. It's almost like a married couple. We're kind of going back and forth. It's like, well, I like Washington. It's like, well, I like Dallas. And like, well, we're not going to talk about it because we both on the other side. It's a lot of conversations end like that.
Wow.
So we got a lot to go through today. So I'm going to give you our three strongest picks, and then I will give you our three other picks that we're considering. Okay? All right. By the way, we're 8-7, so we're above 500. We're inching our way up.
Okay, it's not bad.
Not bad. You're winning money at 8-7.
You want to get to above 50%, maybe 60%, right?
And we're gonna get there. We're every season we always have like a 5-0 weeks at some week, and then we really bomb after that because we get too cocky and we're like we're the best gamblers in the world. Yeah. So this week we're looking for a 5-0. It's a tough week. A lot of dogs. Love a lot of dogs. I saw this great stat that actually let me pull it up real quick. There's a great stat about when you're gambling. So it's saying if you are let's say you're a 1.5%, 1.5 underdog. So you're a 1.5 underdog. The chances of the underdog covering plus losing are 2%. The chance of the underdog covering and winning is 98%. So
go hit that money line in that situation.
That's correct. So as you go down, obviously, if you're an 8.5 point underdog, you're 58% chance of covering plus losing, but you're 42% of covering and winning. So it kind of starts shifting a little bit. So I just thought this was like interesting, kind of fun math to think about, because that's why they always say, if you want to make a lot of money gambling, bet these underdogs money line as much as you can, if you feel confident that they could actually win the game. And sometimes those like 8-point underdogs actually do win the game, and you win, 4-1, 5-1, something like that. So I thought that was like a fun little interesting stat I saw. It's not going to change what we're doing today. So the first game, this is an ugly, ugly game. I'm just going to tell you who we're taking, because this week we've had, I can't even do it anymore. Like the conversation I had with mutual friend earlier today, it was not good.
You seem stressed, Mike.
I'm very stressed. It was not a good call.
Working hard for 8-7 over there.
I know. Washington at Dallas. Dallas is getting 3 points. We are on Washington. We feel like this is the right pick. A division dog on the road, playing a backup quarterback. We bet on Washington last week. We took Washington last week. I hate Washington. I hate what they did. I hate Carson Wentz. I hate the franchise.
Wow.
But I feel like everybody else must hate them too. And that's why this is a must take this week. That is my only analysis on this game. That is why we need to take them.
Not the most in-depth analysis I've heard out of you guys. Washington, you could point to them being okay through 2 weeks of the season, and then not playing well last week, and the offense really shit the bed against Philly. That was a tough divisional matchup, but they failed. So will they really come back on the road against Dallas? That used to be a big rivalry, but Washington's been irrelevant for years. I don't feel like they were looking past Philly last week to Dallas because Philly's just so good on their own.
Yes.
I'm not seeing a lot of reasons why they will come back, except for one.
Give us some hope.
I think they will have the best quarterback on the field. I would take Carson Wentz over Cooper Rush.
You're saying Carson Wentz is better than Cooper Rush?
Yeah. Are you not?
I honestly didn't even cross my mind. I thought they were just the same. Just like the same quarterback. I would even say Carson Wentz might be a little worse.
We don't know much about Cooper Rush. He went
No,
on
we
the road
don't.
and beat the Giants. That's not saying much at all. I
No,
know the
it's
team's
true.
rallying around him. Mike McCarthy laughed when they asked if there'll be a quarterback controversy when Dak is healthy. That tells you
Yeah.
everything you need to know.
Okay.
I think, I don't have a betting manifesto as you do, but if I
Sure.
did, one of my rules would be if the best quarterback on the field is an underdog, you take him every time.
Okay. I love it. Good. This is a locked in pick, so we're locked in for this pick. So
Okay.
that's good.
I like
It
it.
makes me feel good. Next game, Seattle at Detroit. We are taking
Love
Seattle.
this. Yes,
Seattle's
absolutely.
getting
I love that line.
4 points. We're thinking this. Public's thinking Lions are great. They're doing great. But here's the stat that we get. No team since 1968 has ever won and covered games they've covered 3 of their last games, all 3 against the spreads. He's never done that since the 60s. So this is time. Vegas is going to react. They're going to say, hey, what's going on here? We're going to shift it a little. And it's a weird game. I think it's a big game between we're playing against Vegas. Vegas is playing against us. And then we got the public playing against us. We got the sharp bettors playing against us. So where do we find the edge? I feel like this is too, in a way, does this seem too easy to you to just take Seattle? It's obviously scary. Seattle's not a good team. Geno Smith is not that good. They already won their Super Bowl. Detroit Lions are looking up. We're hoping they have a lot of injuries, right? St. Brown might be out. Swift might be out. Now it's just going to rely on good old Jared Goff. I would say this quarterback is equal to Geno Smith. Geno and Jared Goff, interchangeable. So that we're going with Seattle. We have to play it because we know Detroit is getting overvalued here.
Mike, I love the pick here. I was looking at the lines today to prepare for the show, and I thought this one stands out to me. I think it's a bad line from Vegas, to be honest. I don't say that often. Amon St. Brown has been amazing. He's out. He's already out on Friday. DeAndre Swift, very questionable. He might be ruled out by the time the kickoff comes around on Sunday. And then you look across at Seattle. They have better receivers than the Lions without St. Brown. They have better running backs without Swift. I think Rashad Penny's the best running back on the field in that game in addition to Metcalf. I think the line should be more like 3. And so because it's 4 or 4.5, as you said, I think I'm on the Seattle side too. And I think they probably hit that win. I think they win the game actually with Detroit coming off a bad loss to Minnesota. I've been railing against Dan Campbell since Hard Knocks. And since you loved him, I said, he's just a cheerleader, not a strategy guy.
He's a good cheerleader though.
Mike, did you see last week?
Yeah.
He apologized. He apologized for making a bad decision on 4th and 1 to punt the ball back to Kirk Cousins late in the game. He said, I should have made a different decision. I need to do that better. Yeah, a football mind would have executed that better in the
moment. Now, our data that we're pulling in here, we actually set the line at 6 for Detroit. So there's actually some value that
is that with injuries though?
It's just kind of like we have an overall ranking and we put them in that spits out a perceived the line, and then we have perceived the line value. So on this one, we see 2 points of value on this game.
But don't you have to factor injuries in?
We do, but are you going to really remove two points of line value for 2 players on the field? We usually
those 2 players.
I know, but usually it's all right, let's say, Aaron Rodgers is out. Are we going to move the line 2 points? Probably, but that's Aaron Rodgers. Now, I don't know if we've only seen a short amount of time with these players, so there's not a lot of data to go off of it. It's really
they're the 2 best players on the team.
They definitely are the 2 best players on the team. That's the undoubtable there. Yes. All right.
Okay. I like the pick.
Okay. Next game. This is a tough one to take, but we're taking Jacksonville.
He's got a favorite? Oh no.
No. We're taking Jacksonville on the road in Philly. We're getting 6.5 points here. This is a tough one. We're thinking Jags still undervalued. Vegas doesn't shift the lines. They're not all of a sudden like Jags are the greatest team on earth. Philly's the greatest team on earth. They're not going to over adjust, right? Mm-hmm. They're going to slightly adjust, maybe a point here or 2. They're going to figure out where we're going to lay here. Jags have been scoring a lot. They scored 38, 24, 22 points, getting a lot of points. Wow. They can keep up with Philly. I know Philly likes to start out really hot. They don't score fourth quarter points, I guess. That's what they do. They score all their points in the first half of the game.
That might be because they don't have to, right? They've been blowing everyone out.
Yeah. I mean, they blew out Washington last week. These games are scary. These are games that I don't really want to bet on, but I feel like we have to. So we're taking the Jags plus 6.5. That's what we're doing. It's not the best.
I can tell you're concerned about it already, which isn't a great
Yes.
sign for one of your locks. I can also tell you this is a classic butt clincher game because
Mhm.
Jalen Hurts and the Eagles offense is going to get rolling early, and your butt will be squeezed for the entire second half, just praying that the Jags can come back and cover to get it inside 6. I don't like the line. I think
Huh?
the Eagles are probably going to win by 7. I was looking at this one, and if I had to bet it, Mike, I would go the other way.
Yeah.
I think the Eagles are that legit. I think this is a Doug Peterson revenge game, and he's going to want to play well and have his team play well against the Eagles, but they don't have the same amount of talent. The Eagles are really good on offense, and I was wrong about that early in the season. That could come back. It could come down to the end, and Jalen Hurts doesn't make good passes at the end of the season. Right now, that offense is very fun to watch.
Listen, we've only seen 3 games, so I don't want to
Yeah.
overreact.
Yeah.
If we base this all off of like preseason, everybody loves Philly. If we're still getting value on Jacksonville, if Jacksonville just goes undefeated for the next 10 games, then we might see value in this. It is scary, but we don't want to overreact. There's only been 3 weeks of football. 3 weeks. Games are up and down. Geno Smith looked like a superstar week 1, and then he's coming back down to earth. So we don't want to like overreact. He might look like a superstar again one day. We don't know.
You're right.
So
I'll say
see what
this about the
happens.
Jags. They're looking really good, and they're making
are.
Urban Meyer look even worse than he was last year.
Yeah.
Like, remember, he wasn't flying back with the team. He's accused
Yeah.
of this other stuff. The players turned on him. That whole situation is worse than we ever imagined because they actually had a decent roster the way they're playing right now.
Yeah, they're looking good. All right, so we have all right, I'm just going to say there's 2 other games that we like, and then there's one other game that mutual friend likes. So I'm gonna pitch the 2 games that we're both on board with, but we're not really sure we want to put in the contest.
Okay.
We're gonna be taking New England Patriots with backup quarterback Brian Hoyer playing in Green Bay, getting 9.5 points. We don't think Bill Belichick is that bad of a coach. Mac Jones not playing that well. Can Brian Hoyer just be competent enough to keep this game in play? We haven't seen much out of Aaron Rodgers, not clicking with his receivers. If it's a run-heavy game, can we see this game going down to like 9-14 or something like that, where they're really close? I could see it like that. I don't know. So that's where we're at. We're kind of like, well, if Brian Hoyer can play well, is this the game we take? This is the scariest game on the board.
This is in your manifesto. If it's double digits, and this one almost is, I think you said 9.5. You got to take it. It's backup quarterback on the road, hostile environment against a GOAT quarterback. And I'm just going to drop a Scandal City here in the middle of your picks. Bill Belichick is apparently on the hot seat from what I'm hearing in Boston.
No.
Obviously, I have sources all over.
No,
like,
he's
this
not.
Is right now what we're trending to, and this is real. This is not even Scandal City in the sense that it's not true. It's actually very true. It's actually very true in that right now what I'm hearing is Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft are going to meet at the end of the season. And Robert Kraft is mad about a few things. And one of the things he's mad about is Belichick's coaching staff. And if Robert Kraft demands changes to the coaching staff, I can see Belichick saying, don't touch my coaching staff. If you're going to demand things, I'm walking away. I can see a divorce between Belichick and the Patriots coming, not mid-season. That'd be a little crazy.
Sure. Yeah.
I know you're waiting on McCarthy to be the first one out. I think that could happen at the end of the season to the Patriots. I don't think the Patriots play well here. They probably lose by 21 points.
Okay. Well, the next one, not going to do any better. I've been talking shit about this quarterback all season long, but we're on the Detroit. We're on Denver this week, playing in Vegas, getting 2.5 points on the road. This is the division dog playing in Vegas. Both these teams have not looked good, right? I think isn't Vegas 0-3 right now?
Yeah, the only 0-3 team.
Only 0-3 teams. Listen, Denver might as well be 0-3. They're not playing good. They're not scoring touchdowns. They're just kicking field goals. They're playing around. Oh, by the way, we forgot to mention the guy last night sitting next to us at the bar rooting for your Miami Dolphins kicker throughout the whole game. The only time he ever cheered. Let's go. Let's get that kicker out there playing fantasy, rooting for his kicker at the bar. It was wild.
We don't even have kickers in our fantasy leagues anymore. We are evolving with the times, but he's still in 2010 with the kicker. And he was upset, it was a 48-yard attempt. And then, it wasn't the 5-pointer for 50 yards. It's like, wow, this is so 2012. Yeah. This is crazy.
Yeah. And then also the minus. Yeah, it was a whole bunch. And mutual friend was not happy, like talking shit to him. Yeah. So we're taking Denver. I don't think Denver can score. I don't think they can move the ball very well. But if Russell is some sort of Russell, we should be able to play well. The defense, I feel like, is pretty okay with Denver. We're seeing them stop a lot of teams, not a lot of scoring going on. It kind of holds them into the game. Vegas not getting very lucky. And they're not like throwing to Devontae. They have him out there. I don't know why they're not using him enough. These two teams are very weird. They should be better than what their records are. I don't believe in Russell, but I have to bet with him this week. Division dog. It's just our manifesto. We have to go with our rules. We can't go with our heart. It's all the
And you're
rules.
really not. You're really going
I'm
by the
really,
book here. This is a tough game to pick. Really, I don't know
yeah.
who's going to come out, and it's especially with the small line, you don't really know. Carr and Russell have had weird years. They both have new head coaches, division rivalry, like you said. Speaking of owner head coach conversations, after the Raiders went to 0-3 last week, Josh McDaniels was late to his press availability after the game. He had a 45-minute meeting with Al Davis, his son, Mark Davis, the owner of the Raiders, before he even went in the locker room, before he did his press conference. And so that was like, what's going on here? Like, are you getting threatened? Are you going to say feed Devontae? So you mentioned Devontae Adams. I think it's a feed Devontae game. So beware of that. If they just say, I'm not going to lose my job before I try feeding Devontae, and maybe they give him 15 targets and sees what happens against the Broncos secondary. It's just a tough game to pick. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're wrong. I don't know where it's going to go.
We'll find out next week. All right. I got two games. We can breeze over them quickly. These are two optional games. I'm leaning towards Cleveland here. I like Cleveland on the road in Atlanta, -1. Atlanta has been covering for the last few weeks. We've been playing them. We like them. We like the team. I don't really like Cleveland, but I think Cleveland, if this comes down to just a pure running game, it's like Cordell Patterson versus Chubb and whatever the other running back's name is. I can't remember. Hunt. I feel like this could be a close game. I think Cleveland could win it. I do love Atlanta, but I think it's kind of shifting. They've covered too much. I'd lean Cleveland here.
You were on Atlanta last week, and I kind of didn't like the pick, and you're right. Didn't they win that game in Seattle after they played the Rams close the week before? They had a great West Coast run. They almost went 2-0. Coming home, you think they play well against the Browns. Browns have had 10 days since that Thursday nighter. It's Jacoby. They got to feed the running backs. You're right. That's the only way they can really get it done. It's a real toss-up game. So you might be right.
Yeah, not feeling it. This is the one our mutual friend really liked. I couldn't. He was trying to convince me. He's like, I told you already. You're not listening to me. That's what he told me on the call. I said, I'm listening, but I have no feel for it. So if you want it, it can get in the contest. He wants Tennessee on the road in Indy. Now, it makes sense, right? You see Indy get that big win. They beat KC. You see Tennessee struggling. You bet Tennessee here. Tennessee's getting +3.5 points on the road in Indy. Division dog. It all makes sense, but I have no feel for these teams. Like, I have no idea why Indy put up 0 points against Jacksonville and then all of a sudden could beat KC. Does not make sense to me. So this game in line does not make sense. I could flip a coin and take either side and be like, that's probably right. And I don't know.
One way it might make sense is the Colts coach has now come out and said, you guys wrote us off after we lost to the Jaguars. The Jaguars are really good. And so that'll help your Jags pick against the Eagles. And that might be one reason why the Colts have looked like that. You're right. How did they beat the Chiefs? The Titans were a great pick last week. I don't think you had them, but it would have been because that was a good bounce back after the Bills blowout to beat the Raiders. I think they can control the ball. I think Derrick Henry always runs well against the Colts or on the turf. So he might not go down on any wet conditions or anything like that. So I like the pick by the Titans in this game. I do, especially a letdown for the Colts coming off that Chiefs win, like you mentioned.
Okay. This might be just fuel for my fire to let them know that we're going to stay off this pick, but
I'm just giving you honesty.
I know.
Here.
No, I like it. It's a really tough week. There's a lot of games. We also thought about Houston for a minute. We thought about Pittsburgh, stuff like that, Arizona, but we're staying away from those games. Houston makes sense. We're not really sure what's going on with Herbert. Is he playing? He's playing.
He's off the injury report, actually. So I dropped his backup on my fantasy team. You love hearing about fantasy updates. So I'm rolling with Herbert without a backup, without a safety net. There's another huge game, Mike, on Sunday night. The Bucs and the Chiefs, which you didn't mention. And I was reviewing the lines earlier today, and I was thinking, the Chiefs lost to the Colts and Matt Ryan, and they're favorites on the road against the Bucs defense, who's playing really well and only gave up 14 points to the Packers last week. And they're probably getting Chris Godwin back, and they are getting Mike Evans back. And they had a great week of practice in Miami because they evacuated from the hurricane, and they got to keep their game in Tampa because Tampa didn't have the hurricane like we thought it would. I'm seeing a lot of signs pointing to Bucs to cover and just win that game.
So I was on him. I was on him early in the week. It was a heated debate because he was on KC. So we had a debate this game. We're staying off. Now, 90% of the bets right now currently on KC. The problem is we're not getting 2.5 points in the contest. We're only getting a pick 'em. So there's no value.
Oh, I was seeing it at 1.5 for the Chiefs today.
The contest lines are weird. They project what the closing line will be. So we get like kind of shitty lines. So we're really going against it's a little harder. I don't. I like Tampa Bay early in the week. I agree. KC not playing that well. I think Tampa has really good defense. I don't know what's going on. The only thing that scares me, Brady. Like
Yeah.
him and Giselle, separate houses during the hurricane. What's going on
Is that wait?
mentally?
Is that true?
Yeah, I saw that. It might be a scandal. I don't know. I saw it on the
Wait,
news.
Brady went to Miami for the hurricane. They had to practice in Miami, so
I
of
don't know.
course they were separate.
I
Is
don't
that the
know.
headline? They
Listen,
separate places.
I was in Tampa. Now I'm getting like Tampa feed news in my
Oh boy.
in my phone. I like it. I do like it. I put you down here. I put you on our board here. I just said
Oh.
J Dog. So I'm just gonna kind of go back through this later with him and try to make our final picks. But
Might be a reason to take the Chiefs, as we know. I think the Bucks offense has not been good, and Brady's been
no,
really struggling. I know the offensive line's in shambles, but his mental life is also in shambles, it
it
appears,
is.
and possibly his physical life with all the weight he's losing. We don't know what's going on. We've covered a lot
We
of
don't.
conspiracies
Yeah.
with Brady. He's thrown for like 150 passing yards a game. Like that's like Carson Wentz shit. So he's got to step it up if they're gonna have a chance to go to the playoffs. But I think they will score a little more on the Chiefs defense. Like Herbert got hot, late in that Chiefs game. Matt Ryan was able to score a little bit late against the Chiefs. So I think Brady scores late, wins that game.
That's all I got. We're gonna be watching the games together on Sunday, maybe at 10, maybe at 1. We don't really know. We're gonna watch.
J-Dog takes on the NFL for more weird scheduling. 8
Go for it.
games at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 3 bad games at 1 p.m. Pacific time. That's
Terrible.
4 o'clock for you on the East Coast. That's your time to sit back and watch. The thing is, go out and run your errands before the Sunday night game, before Chiefs Bucks. They're telling you to leave the house at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. The 3 games there, Patriots Packers is the best one, and it's a 9.5 point line, like you said.
Well, it's not even a good game because Mac Jones isn't there. They got Brian Hoyer in.
And we got Ravens Bills buried at 10 a.m. on Red Zone. We just need Scott Hansen to update us on it. I want that national. I want to watch that whole damn thing. Lamar versus Josh Allen.
I have no desire to watch any Arizona Panthers at all.
No,
it does
not one play.
Not at all. No desire.
No.
All right. Well, it's a good lineup. Hopefully, we can go 4-1 this week. I don't know what that loser will be, but I want a 4-1. I want to feel a little more confident. I feel like I'm really feeling the vibes lately of like where to go with it, trying to stay laser focused. It's really tough. We're trying to win $1 million, so we're spending a lot of time. We're trying.
I know. And it's a lot of money to invest back in this podcast. So we're really hoping it happens.
Well, there's what pisses me off right now. There's one guy in the contest that is 15-0. And I saw a stat. If I can bring up the stat, it's like literally getting hit by lightning like 10 times in a row walking down the street. Those are the type of odds. I don't know how he's doing it.
This is like conspiracy theory. Like he's time traveling back from like 2025 and knows the outcome of every game or something. This is serious.
Yeah, let me look it up. There's a stat, but it's what makes me really mad is that he is doing so well. Now he's getting like promotions on like other people's gambling podcasts. That's where we need to be. Why are we not there?
Why are you not 15-0?
Oh, you're telling me. Hold on, I'm looking. Let me see.
I'm realizing it's gonna be really hard for you to beat that guy. If you're 8-7, he's already 15-0.
I know. I'm looking. I'm just gonna try to look it up.
Don't give him any more promotion than he's already getting, Mike.
Okay, that's right. I really want to know what it is though, because it's absolutely insane to go 15-0. Okay, so the odds of randomly starting 15-0 are 32-1.
Well, 32-1 is not that crazy, right?
But it feels like no one else has done it. So there's 2 people 15-0. There's 12 people 14-1, and there's 51 people 13-2.
I wish you were 13-2. That would be respectable, and I wouldn't be questioning where you're getting your information.
Okay, well, it's at least.
But Mike, you're not far from 13-2. You're 5 picks away. You waffled on more than 5 of these picks through 3 weeks, and just imagine if you did something different.
We're middle of the pack. We still have like 3,000 people below us, so we're in it. All we need to do is win a quarter. It's still very feasible to win some money in this contest. And we're just getting our legs under us. We just, we're bickering a lot during the week. That's
it. Sounds like you need to get a handle on your partner there, and maybe you need to bring in your third member, your investor, to help like break some of this tension and call some of the shots here.
I don't think our investor watches football, knows what football is. I don't think he's really
like all great investors, not involved.
Exactly. Check out the Sports Hangover. Oh, tons of new swag up on the website right now.
What do you have up there?
I have, let me see the shirts I got up there right now. I have some new swag up there. I have some like parlay t-shirts. I have Sports Hangover hoodies and what else do I have up there? Like some long sleeve t-shirts.
Oh,
You
it's
know, some
great. It's
fall
cooling off. Yeah, fall, winter's coming.
fall favorites. I have a t-shirt, Fade the Public, which is great. I'll show it here. I'll share the screen as long as we're
Fade the
talking
public.
about
Yeah,
we're fading the public. That's what we want to do, right?
That's what you do.
Look at here we go. Here we go. Look at that shirt. Fade the Public. It's like a little
Fade the
Amazon
public sweatshirt. I like that.
Look at that, right? We got let's see
Show
where
us
else.
more. We're here. Yeah.
Here we go. So here are the new Sports Hangover. This is a new sweater we got. This is a
Oh, I like
champion
that.
sweater. It's a little
That's
expensive.
a good brand. Yeah.
It's a great quality swag. Fade the Public. I made a whole bunch of random ones. Look at this
I
one.
like that.
This is a mineral wash. This is like, isn't that
That's a
great?
little tie. That's a little tie at the top. If you're just listening, thanks for still sticking around. We're just watching our website here, thesportshangover.com, and there's some great swag.
This swag right here, this sweater looks so good.
Yeah, it's only $74, so it's really affordable.
Shit's really expensive. I mean, I'm trying to go quality here.
Inflation got us, Mike. Oh my!
Inflation
gosh.
really got us. This is
one's
under
under $50 for those out
there.
there.
Hey, sweatshirts are expensive. They're not cheap. Okay, look at these sweatshirts here. This is what I'm buying for the winter. Right here. These
I'll
are
get one of those.
Super quality.
Maybe a few.
Yeah.
Do they run big? Do we know what size?
No, but the quality of the new t-shirt I put up here is very good. I ordered one for myself. You just go under the Sports Hangover tab and then they're all under here. But this new t-shirt right here, this one, so good. The quality, I can't believe it.
That's
only
great.
comes in one color. I'm trying to keep it one color here, but
black and red. Those are our colors.
Go check out sportshangover.com. A lot of new swag up there. Yeah. So get it all with all the money you're winning from all these picks that we're giving out. That's what I'm trying to say. Fade the public. That's what we want to do.
Sounds great, Mike. Great show, and please be okay, Tua.
Yeah. All right. Good show. See you next week.